Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today's episode is brought to you by the Bayfield Brewing Company. And today I am so excited to have on a 28-year-old from Perth, Ontario. His hockey journey took him to Canada, the USA, Germany, Denmark, and Wales. He was an all-star with the Smith Falls Bears and a fan favorite, I believe. A two-time second-team all-star and a one-time all-Canadian first-team all-star with the Carleton University something or others. He was a bronze medalist in the Universiade with Canada, a fan favorite of the Cardiff Devils, where every man wanted to be him and every woman wanted to be with him after when he was singing in the bar. He made every fan hot and bothered in Cardiff, Wales, and his first album was just released, Prophecies. Welcome to the podcast, Mike McNamee, also known as Boston Levi.
Thanks for having me, sir. That's a good introduction.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. I guess, I would say the biggest news, well, we should say how we know each other and how I persuaded you on here was, I guess we would know each other through the Cardiff Devils.
Yeah.
And I guess I gave you a pregame speech once, which
I saw you at your finest. I saw you at your finest one night for sure.
Yeah, that story has been told on the pod. So I'm assuming you were pumped up that night.
Of course, I was blown away. I had no idea what I was seeing. The boys always told me that Lordo had tricks up his sleeve for some pregame speeches, whether it be him or someone else doing it. And I was just glad I got to experience it.
Yeah, there were quite a few of those the one year. It was things got really carried away and really escalated. But you just try and help your team win. But so that was the night we met.
It was nice.
Yeah, that was the night we met. And and then I guess also still follow the team, and I would see you singing in the bar to the fans and all the players, and everybody be watching, and everybody have their phones out like they're at an actual concert. And I'm like, this guy's like the new centerman, and he's doing that in the bar afterwards. I'm like, this guy is a double threat.
No, yeah, it was good. I feel like when I sign places, like people don't really know that, the guitar comes with me everywhere, what I'm capable of with it. But I think Fee, the social media girl, sort of caught wind that I played. And the funny thing is, the first time we played, obviously I was brand new to the team. It was an exhibition game and we lost, and we weren't supposed to lose, but I had scheduled to play upstairs in the bar after. So I was a little sketchy what Lordo was going to think, but we went ahead with it anyways, and obviously people enjoyed it.
Well, I've heard some of your songs, which, by the way, I see you holding a pen. We've had issues with guys clicking pens in the past.
Sorry.
I'm just letting you know early on here in the pod, I've become a real experienced podcaster now. But like, I would see the videos and I was like, wow, that is just so cool. Cause like I played in Cardiff and I know how fun it is, and I know the atmosphere, and I could just picture the atmosphere with you doing that after a game, and everybody really would take to it, I think.
Yeah, I think I bought myself some fans. Just even if I wasn't playing well on the ice, maybe they'd still like me for what I could do off the ice. So maybe bought me some room if I played bad one night.
Well, yeah, no, I could see how that might come in handy. And I guess, so your first album, Prophecies, just was released when we're recording this, like this week, correct? And congratulations, that's incredible.
Yeah, it was, I guess it would be a week ago tomorrow. And it's all happened really fast in terms of the music side of things. And obviously I stepped away from hockey to pursue it. And that was a big step. And it was just nice to sort of get a final piece of art, so to speak, out to the world and for people to hear. But I think we're on the right track.
So I guess I actually am like curious because I know you were a swamp rabbit not long ago, playing for Lordo in the coast. But you did make the decision to
Yeah.
stop playing. How do you come to that decision? How do you decide it's time? Like I'm gonna do it now.
It was something I had that same question for a long time, to be honest. It's not an easy decision. Obviously, you used to play and you stepped away. Everybody steps away at a different time in their own life. And I think just last year with the pandemic and what's happening in the world, I was at home for the first time for an extended period of time. First time in a long time that I've been home for, more than 2 or 3 months at a time. And I think I sort of liked it more than I imagined, just being around family again and, being around loved ones. And then last summer, we really hit the ground running with the music thing. It started out of nowhere. And in short order, we really realized that with a little bit of work, we could make it into something. And then once I got to Greenville, I still love hockey. I still think I could be good at it, if I wanted to play, but just wasn't feeling the whole coast lifestyle and, grinding it out down there for, not really going anywhere. I missed Europe, to be honest, a little more laid back. And I just thought I had an opportunity with music I couldn't really pass up.
So what is the opportunity with music then? Because I saw like a couple videos on like Instagram and whatnot, and they're so well done. And you have this album come out, and I see like the one song has over 31,000 listens already in the first week. That Feel It All, and I've listened to it numerous times, and it's a great tune. But like this is legit, eh?
Yeah,
Happens quick.
yeah. I think what people don't know happens behind the scenes. Like basically everything in life. There's a band from Kingston, Ontario. I'm actually wearing a hat, the Glorious Sons. If you haven't checked them out, I suggest everybody check them out. But they've been around for a while now, and I've been a huge fan of theirs for years, and they've been able to be very successful. They're one of the fastest growing rock bands probably on the planet to this day. And I got lucky enough to meet them one night, and me and their guitar player kicked it off, and we stayed in touch for years. And he is now my manager and my guitar player in the videos that you're seeing. So to have him come into my life, at the way that he did, and he's taken me under his wing 110%. And I go down and that's where I record my music at his house, and he's there in the room with me every second of the way. So if you're asking what the opportunity was, he is the opportunity to have him represent me. And just in terms of connections and people to know in the music industry, he is the guy that I can't really walk away from right now.
Well, yeah, seeing what you're doing, man. I completely agree with your decision, whether I got to say or not, because grinding it out in the coast at, I said you're 28 years old. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna, at that point, you might get to have some fun in Europe, like I got to, but it's not gonna be a career, right? Like it's gonna be your job for a while, but it's not an actual career at that point, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I was basically going to Greenville because obviously I knew Lordo, and he brought a few other guys from Cardiff as well. And I was basically just going to play hockey for the year, sort of thing, until I could get back to Europe, which was basically my goal. I had signed to go back to Cardiff. It was my 100% intention. And once I got down there, it was just sort of like, I mean, I would love to go back to Europe. I believe I probably still could if I wanted to, and the door's probably still open, but just playing in the coast wasn't for me right now. And again, it was a long decision. Just, not playing hockey every day, not going to the rink. It's been a little bit of a change, but I'm still doing all right without it at this moment.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious now because like when I saw you left Greenville, I was like, so he's done. He did it to go be a musician, and like I figured like once we get through this, you'd have to like do tours and stuff. But you're saying you obviously you're still itching.
Uh, I'm a firm believer on not really closing doors on anything. Obviously, with the state of Canada is in right now, tours and playing shows isn't even possible, which is severely unfortunate. Obviously, someday it's going to open, and that's going to be a reality. I definitely think I will be embarking on some sort of a tour when that happens, but nobody really knows when that's going to happen right now. And if the time comes and Canada still isn't open and I feel like playing hockey, I think I still have that option, and I don't have an issue saying that.
So this is just curious side before we get into the real hockey side of your life here is, if this all happened so fast with music during the pandemic and you were a hockey player before, have you ever played, like, what's the biggest crowds you've played in front of? What kind of shows have you been doing?
Yeah, I mean, since I started recording, I haven't played shows. I mean, if people are lucky enough to be in the room when we're recording, they get to witness that, and I guess that would probably be it. But when I was younger and like going through university, I played a few like Saturday nights in pubs in Perth. I think I did like 3 or 4 times, but I mean, you'd probably get like 70 people in there, 50 people, and it's not really any of your own music at that time. You're just playing, famous songs and getting paid not a whole lot. So in terms of like playing my own stuff as Boston Levi, it hasn't really happened yet. But that being said, when I first got home from Greenville, Canada was in a little bit of a better state, and I had 2 back-to-back nights, a Friday and Saturday shows planned for 100 people each, and they were both sold out within minutes. So I think I think it's going to happen, and it should be a pretty good turnout once it does.
Oh, it definitely will be a turnout, man. Like, you're good. I know I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I've been listening, and like, yeah, the kids and I were listening today. You've been on my playlist for a while. Yeah, but they were out on Spotify before, right? Because I had it on my playlist for months now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there was 2 songs released before the album was, so they were just sort of like singles, basically to try and get my name out there and get some traction. So 2 of them have been out now for one for 5 months and one for like 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've listened to them lots of times. So my question was, just because I don't know much about music, and while I have a musician on, I kind of want to ask these questions. I know you're new to it, but like, so you do have a stage name, right? Like you have a stage name. So how do you choose that name, and what's that all about?
Yeah. My stage name Boston Levi it's a great background. My mom actually wanted to name me that at birth, which um, I did not know right away. My dad said no, like before I was born. He didn't like the name. And my mom told me this when I was like 15 or 16, and I remember losing my mind. I was like, how do you not choose Boston Levi over Mike McNamee, just in terms of absolute unreal name sort of thing? And but yeah, Boston was my mom's mother, so Nana's maiden name, and my mom's grandfather's first name was Levi, so they just switched Levi Boston around, and that's what I went with. And when we were recording and things started getting real, my manager Jay said, if you have any other names in mind, Mike McNamee isn't really the most artistic handle, or and it was a no-brainer for me. I went with Boston Levi within minutes, and I think it catches people's attention. I think it does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, okay. No, and it's got a lot of meaning to you. I think it's cool. You just explained it to me.
Yeah.
And now all the fans in Cardiff are gonna know that we're all hot and bothered all
There
those
you
nights in
go.
the bar, right? And I guess speaking of things getting real, folks, this is real. We have a sponsor, the Bayfield Brewing Company. Welcome to the family. I was there today. I met everyone. I met a couple of the owners. They gave me some beers to sample here on the podcast, and they were lovely people, hardworking, small town folks from Bayfield, from the locals pod with Jeremy Welsh. I met them, and what a partnership I think this could be. They love hockey. They got a beer named after Ryan O'Reilly, which has came up multiple times. I used to skate with him. And today's episode is I'm sipping on right here is a Captain Ronnie. And I met Ronnie today, and it's an India Pale Ale. And it is one of their most hop forward offerings to date, showcasing the bold taste of hops balanced with a smooth malt finish. This craft brew will please hop enthusiasts and skeptics alike. An ode to Ron Keys and all of his efforts for the Bayfield Brewing Company. His love of beer is surpassed only by his love of hockey. From the captain himself, cheers. So yeah, cheers to Ron and his team for sponsoring the podcast. And now this habit of podcasting isn't going to be so expensive. But anyways, I've had a couple today. I've sampled a couple, and yeah, the Captain Ronnie is lovely that I'm having today. But we'll get into the other kinds on the other episodes. So welcome to the family, Bayfield Brewing Company. And moving on, I guess you were playing with Dad. I guess we could talk about him later if we have time.
Yeah.
But Elite Prospects tells me that you've already signed a contract for next year. So maybe Cardiff and all the teams in Europe maybe are maybe you're just trying to get them jealous so they sign you, because
that might be it.
It says you're going to be a North Dundas senior Rocket.
Yeah, it's one of my buddies is the assistant GM on that team, and he just asked me, if I'd be willing to come out, and basically for protection purposes, so nobody else took me, because there's some sort of draft. I just said, yeah, like if I'm around sort of thing, I'll play. So yeah, I'm on that roster, so I'm protected and nobody else could get me.
Okay, interesting. Okay, well, if you end up playing for the senior Rockets, we can always have a mid-season pod to see how the season's going.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But anyways, I'd like to know then, double question here. Minor hockey in Perth, and then when do you start getting into music? Like, when does the love of music start as well as hockey? Double whammy.
Yeah, that's minor hockey in Perth. Yeah, I grew up in Perth, started playing when I was 4, and then honest man, like I didn't start really getting into music, like listening and stuff, until I was in probably high school. So by the time I started playing junior when I was 15, and then I didn't start playing music till I was 20. Like I didn't start playing guitar until I was 20. So
was this just to pick up girls? Was this to pick up girls? Because as a 20-year-old, I remember going to university and the boys would say, like, if you can play guitar, and be on the hockey team, like that's the double threat, and that's what you are here, sir. And it wasn't to just pick up girls, or did you actually love music?
I honestly did love music, and I will be honest with you. My uncle, who used to play guitar for us all the time, like when I was younger, we actually still to this day call him Ding Ding, because he played guitar, and that's the sound a guitar makes. So like he would be over every day playing us guitar. He gave me a guitar when I was 13, and I looked at it and I was like, I am never ever gonna play this ever. And 20 years old, when I was in junior, I was playing in Sherbrooke. It was my last year of major junior. I had so much time on my hands. Just like you go to the rink in the morning and just go home. I just picked it up one day and just sort of ran with it. And like I was playing by myself. Like I wasn't playing for anyone. For years, I never showed anybody what I was or anything.
Is that right? Like, because I know so many hockey players that bought a guitar because they had so much time in pro. Once, like junior, like once you get to pro, and like if there's just some days where you're like, I got to kill a day, and there were so many guys that would buy a guitar,
there, yeah.
But you actually didn't just buy the guitar. You really got into her here.
Yeah, it was gifted, and yeah, it took me a long time to actually open the case and pick it up. But that's sure.
Um, well, the only time I really picked up a guitar was in Daytona Beach, Ohio. We really got into Guitar Hero back in the day, back in I think it
It's a
was
good
'05,
game.
'06, you know?
It's a good game.
Yeah, that's how the only guitar playing I've ever done. Okay, so Perth minor hockey then. Is it what kind of minor? Sorry, we got to get into your actual hockey life now. So, um, oh dear,
That's all right.
I do have a story though. So I was almost a musician too. This is a story that has never came up on the
Okay.
pod, but in Bietigheim, Germany, and I have a guy that's going to come on and tell the story. But basically, I sang George Strait, Clear Blue Sky to the
Wow.
entire town of Bietigheim, Germany
Wow.
before the parade. Yep.
Very nice. So did you guys win and beating
Yeah, we won my first year there, and then we got progressively worse each year, and then they told me to kindly not come back. Um, but the first year they loved me, and I sang the whole town karaoke type thing before the parade. Because so basically,
Unreal.
what happened is there was going to be a parade. We're all waiting, we're all the floats waiting, and there was a square dancing float, and it was those older German people, and the music was horrible, and they're square dancing around. But then they started playing some country songs I knew, so I was like singing, and this German guy says, "You know all these songs? Why don't you sing?" Because this old German guy had a microphone and he was trying to sing. So I was like, well, if they got George Strait, Clear Blue Sky on that iPod over there, then I will sing if it's on that iPod. And
Yeah.
he went over and
Very
searched it,
nice.
and it was
Unreal.
on there, and I did it. I sang to everybody. The whole minor hockey
Nicely
family was there.
done.
Yeah, I was pretty good. Pretty good. I almost became a musician. Okay. So,
Should have
anyways,
kept at it.
yeah, no, I would say my enthusiasm was there and my attitude was right, but I was not uh musically
Yeah.
inclined. I'm a talker. I'm a podcaster. I'm not a singer.
You didn't have the special stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm a talker. I'm a podcaster, not a singer.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So how do you get to the Smith Falls Bears, and where is that?
That is a good question. Yeah, I played minor in Perth, and then once you got old enough for AAA, I forget what year it was, but I only played 2 years of that, and then yeah, so I played AAA just in the Ottawa Valley, and then there's a draft, the Junior A draft. This Falls is actually only about 20 minutes from Perth, so they picked me up in the draft, and then yeah, I made it there my first year as a 15-year-old, and good days back then. Learned a lot in Smith Falls.
So would you live in Smith Falls, or would you be in Perth with your parents?
I was in Perth. I lived at home, which was nice. And I just drove to practice every day because it was only 15 minutes. It was actually a really nice setup.
Okay. Well, I'm about to crack a navigating lieutenant, just so you know. um, but anyways, okay. So the Smith Falls Bears, that would be the same league as yeah, like Brockville Braves, be the same
Yeah,
league probably. Okay.
Pembroke Lumber Kings.
Yeah. Welcome. Episode 22, Doug Andrus, if I'm not mistaken, around there. Doug Andrus was a Brockville Brave. Yeah.
Very nice.
Legend there.
Very nice.
Yeah. So then my next question is, you did have a couple good years there, and you're there as a 15-year-old, but you don't go to the Q,
Yeah.
and you don't go the scholarship route. So how do you end up going to the Q later on?
Well, I got skipped over in the OHL draft. So technically, just because I'm from Ontario, I would have been OHL property. So I went and played Junior A, which was fine by me. I did want to go and get a scholarship in the States. And then when I was 18, I had a really, really good year. And there's this showcase tournament for all the teams around Christmas time. And it's just a tournament. All the teams play their games in the one rink. And it's basically for schools to come watch. And really good weekend. I think I had 2 games or something like that. And then the scout for the Quebec Ramparts came up and approached us, and we chatted over the next few days. And originally they wanted me to leave Smiths Falls halfway through my 18-year-old year and go right to Quebec City. And I actually turned them down, which is pretty ridiculous of me looking back on it. But I'm
But you were
lucky
trying to
they
get a
gave me a
scholarship,
chance. They
right?
asked me to come back for my 19-year-old. Yeah, but just Quebec City. I mean, Patrick Waugh, they play in front of 15,000 people, and they included a university package for me, and it was just too good to turn down, sort of thing. And the next year I chose to go there for my last 2 years of junior, and looking back on it, it was an unbelievable experience. And it was crazy times.
Huh. That is a very different path than most people take, right? Like to go to the queue
Yeah.
that late. Yeah, that's a different path, but I get it. So Patrick Roy was the coach.
And GM, yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, and actually. uh it was crazy, to be honest. Uh, obviously being from a small town of 6,000 people, and then I played junior in another small town. I'd never really been exposed to magnitude of hockey like that. And going to Quebec City, I've never experienced fans like that in my life. I was 19 years old and playing in front of 15,000 people. We would sell out, on a weekly basis. And it was a whirlwind. And Patrick is a human being. Obviously, if you watch his hockey, he's a passionate man about the game, and he's a feisty guy, and that comes out in his coaching too. But I learned a lot from him, and he did a lot for my family. He brought us down before I signed, watched a playoff game. He put us up in hotels, and he took time out of his day to tour me around. Looking back at it, I can't really thank him enough for what he did and bringing me there. And it was just an unreal experience.
Well, that's when you said like were from a small town and you hadn't been around, it was like a whirlwind. It kind of sounds like your music career now, because I feel like um, you've only been playing in
Yeah.
front of the 100 people that have been selling out, but like I don't think you realize how big you're going to be when there is an actual concert, and you're gonna.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. Hopefully the tour comes around this area.
Hopefully.
That would be lovely. So anyways, where were we? You were in the queue playing for Patrick Waugh, which I had no idea, so that's not on the notes. Yeah, but that's cool. And so I just find it interesting when you play for a goalie compared to say a defenseman or a forward. Like I think coaches are different based on what position they played.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. It was like I think you just honestly, I never really looked at him. This is a goalie coaching me. It was more of this is the legend of Patrick Waugh coaching me. And I remember the first day of the tour I mentioned he took us on. He brought us to the rink and everything, and we went through the dressing room, and
You just cut out there big time.
uh, um,